Hi everyone, today we're going to do a general tour of the greenhouse for the summer. This episode is brought to you by greenlifeplanet.net. They provide all types of great aquaponics supplies in the Caribbean. By glassbottleoutlet.com, and they have all kinds of really cool little glass bottles. And by trueaquaponics.com, they have a fantastic website on nutrient deficiencies. And also I frequent their Facebook page on a regular basis, asking and answering all types of different questions. I've been getting a whole bunch of requests on doing a summer tour greenhouse. It hasn't been something I've done in quite a while. And I'm usually not a fan of doing them, mainly because it's just sort of me rambling on about it. So what I'll do is, as I mention each thing, I'll try to add a link to another video, so if you want to see it in more detail, you can just click on the link and it'll pop open another window for that. So just starting on the outside, after a few years you can see get a little weathering on here. A couple of shingles have fallen off. The polycarbonate's holding up really well. A few spots here and there, but it's pretty much bulletproof. The taped seams with this leading edge tape is holding up really well. I haven't had to replace any of it. And the stainless steel screws, of course, are doing quite well. So overall, really happy with the exterior of the building. The solar setup still works well. I have 3 sets of panels like this. It runs for about 8 months a year off grid, and then I have to start supplementing with grid power during the winter. I've been working on my wood supply for this winter. It takes a while to get it all split, but I'm looking pretty good for that so far. Okay, so we'll wander on inside. In the entrance, you just have a table set up with our brochures and other things that people like to see when they come to visit. The wood stove and the rocket mass heater, I'm going to cover that in an update video at some point in the future. And then the rest of the greenhouse. Still keeping about 200 koi in the tank, a few goldfish. The window's been holding out nicely, no leaks. In the tank we still have the spray bar helping to circulate the water. That's working very nicely, along with a few air stones, just has a backup air supply. And of course the automatic fish feeder, which is on a timer. Swirl filter is still working great. It is still undersized for this system. It's catching most of the solids, but some still escape out through the drain. And then any solids that are making their way through are ending up in the new mineralization tank. I've been very happy with this so far. Water leaving it's very clear. I still have my hospital quarantine tank. Have a couple fish in here now, a couple ulcers on them, but they should survive. Good salt treatment and taking care of the wounds with some hydrogen peroxide usually cleans them up. The strawberry towers along the fish tank are looking excellent. They've been done fruiting for quite a while. I get one here and there, but these are a June bearing variety, and then they just gain their energy for the next year. I'm missing my one tower that I pulled out the other week. That's just lying over here still, looking very sad. Still trying to get my bottom cap put on there, just haven't had time to do it yet. My smallest media bed in the middle of the greenhouse, I have a bunch of chives in here, they just keep going year after year. And my pink lemon tree has been doing quite well, much larger than it used to be. And then I also let some lettuce go to seed in here. In the spring I planted this banana. Now it has 2 pups here, another huge one coming up the side, and then it's grown all the way up to the ceiling now. I don't think I'm going to get any bananas again this year, it's just going to get too tall, but it's still pretty cool to watch it grow here. In my middle ring of media beds, I have a whole bunch of different things, some cherry tomatoes here. My sage plant has been growing like crazy. It has a fairly good sized woody trunk in here, And this is going on 3+ years, about 3.5 years now, and I just keep hacking it back. It overwinters great. Same thing with this oregano. This has been growing like crazy. And some very sad cucumbers. These things basically get burned out. I've been battling some thrips this year too. I have some strawberries also growing in the media beds, so they do well in here. My biggest complaint is that they send out their runners and they set themselves up again. It just makes a thicker, more dense area. So keeping them in the towers helps to keep the plants segregated and spaced out better. There's more cherry tomatoes growing in here. They just grow like a weed. It's almost hard to control them. The bell siphons have been going non-stop. You can see inside of these there's some algae growing on the edges. It doesn't seem to affect it at all, but I really should put a cover on those and just keep it clean. But for the most part, they've been going non-stop. Just for experimenting, I decided just to throw a composting bucket here. All my waste is going in here, and it has a few holes drilled into the bottom. And I've been finding that the composting worms actually come up into the bed and have been feasting in here. So any of the juices and liquids go out through the bottom and the worms come up. So we'll see how that works out this year. I've always had really good luck growing the tomatoes in here. This is an Amish paste variety. Do very nicely, nice big tomatoes out of it, a lot of flavor. I tie these up onto this cross cabling that goes from one end to the other of the greenhouse, and it helps provide some shade for the plants that are growing underneath these. I have one very sad looking sweet potato growing here. It had a rough start. You can see the deficiency in the leaves, and once I got that corrected earlier this year, the leaves are looking much better now. Hiding in here is my very sad pineapple plant. Basically gets shadowed out by everything else, but it's still barely alive. Once again, the only soil we have in the greenhouse are our amaryllis plants. Sometime I'll have to do a video just on these, but basically I'm dumping the water into these for their nutrient right into the soil. Still keep growing nasturtiums. They basically are growing out of control. I have to keep hacking them back. And some more cherry tomatoes. And then our monster rosemary. This is also original to the greenhouse, and we just keep hacking huge sections of it back. And you can see the size of the base of it here. It's very well established, very happy growing in here. In this outer media bed, I have some thyme here. And then this mess in here is a mixture of cucumber and tomato. I've been very negligent with taking out the dead leaves, but they're doing quite well in here, regardless of me. Plenty of tomatoes coming in. And then these are also trellised up above and growing along the cabling. These plants are just about burned out. The thrips have not helped them out at all. I've been trying to keep them under control this year. So these plants will come out pretty soon. Air pump has been going strong, haven't had any problems. Runs its line along the perimeter. I did have some cabbage growing in here and some kale. And even though I had some cabbage worms on them, I just couldn't keep up with it, even using dipel to control them. So I ripped them all out, and hopefully I can just break that breeding cycle of those caterpillars. It's been really bad this year. Lettuce in the deep water culture rafts does okay during the summer. Really doesn't like the heat, so they get a little bit leggy and will start to bolt soon. So we pick them while it's fairly young still. And this raft here has all the younger ones in there at a tighter population, and they get transplanted into a wider space raft. I have the seedlings going in the gravel beds. That's been working extremely well. And then I have some starters here, so I've been alternating back and forth between two different beds. This year I also have some strawberries growing in the deep water culture, and these have done extremely well, better than the media beds or the towers. They just have these huge crowns on them and they've been doing fantastic. I still rather grow them in the towers just to keep them up out of the water, but they do really well in the raft bed also. Once again, I'm planting some basil in the deep water culture. One raft has them in the 2-inch grow grips. They're getting a little tall for them and pull them out. They're really designed for dealing with lettuce. But the 1-inch ones are able to hold them very well, so that's been doing quite nicely. Other than some iron deficiency, I've already cut these once and I'll cut them again before it starts getting too cold. Once the water temperature gets into the low 60s, these things just die off really fast. So that's about it for our summer tour. I wanted to thank you for watching, and a special thanks to all my Patreon subscribers and supporters. If you wanted to subscribe to Patreon, I'll leave a link down below. And if you're looking for a sneak peek of where our greenhouse is going to go, it'll be in this front field. We'll get this site cleared up and ready at some point in the future. It just takes a while to get everything done. Once again, thanks for watching.